I went ahead and started the recording.
All right, perfect. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Mayor Managers meeting for Wednesday, December 14th. Online with me is Assistant City Clerk Sarah Harkness, City Clerk Stephanie Carlisle, Assistant City Attorney Victoria McDermott, Assistant City Manager Tim Dodd, and Mayor Pro Tem Steve Ward. Tim, I'll let you kick us off.
Great, thank you, Mayor. So again, we have a couple weeks off, and so our next meeting is Tuesday, January 3rd. We start with a study session on library staffing. I believe this is the last Mayor Manager meeting before this meeting, so would we like to assign a discussion time for this?
Steve, do you have any thoughts on that? I don't happen to see the screen, so I'm having trouble right now. Hold on.
Yeah, presentation is 15 minutes. I would anticipate probably a 20-minute discussion. This has been kind of a contentious issue in the past.
Okay, great. And right now it's our only study session. Do we want to just still start at 6, and then if we have a break, go for it? Do we want to try to add something?
I would start at 6. That library discussion is going to be a little unpredictable, so that gives us some buffer time.
Okay. Great. Then we go into the regular meeting agenda on the 3rd. So we have a few consent items. So designation of the official posting place for legal notices is a resolution on consent. 2023 bulk chemical purchases is a resolution on consent. We then have a resolution to support a new ground lease agreement on Inglewood McClellan Reservoir Foundation properties. This has not been assigned to consent yet. It's a resolution.
I would actually, are we looking at the bulk chemical purchases?
No, sorry, Mayor. The bulk chemical purchases currently is on consent, but then the next one after. Yeah, the next one after that is a resolution to support a new ground lease agreement at the Inglewood McClellan Reservoir Foundation properties. And currently there's a question of whether that should be on consent.
Not knowing enough about it, I would say no to consent, but Mayor Pro Tem, any thoughts on that?
I concur. I wouldn't put a ground lease on consent just because some of these involve long-term agreements, which may conclude with purchase based on previous voter approval. And if that's the case, then that's something that we definitely need to discuss.
Okay. And then the next is a motion to approve revisions to the Inglewood Charter as approved by voters in the November election, and that's currently on consent. The next is Council Bill 75, a bill for an ordinance for second reading to approve an ordinance authorizing an intergovernmental agreement for the Dry Gulch with the Mile High Flood District. The next is.
Can we go back real quick?
Yeah.
The consent item, the charter revisions.
Yep.
I would actually like that not to be on consent, just because we'll be examining chapter and verse changes to our charter.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, can you repeat that again? I didn't catch that last part.
Yeah, the charter. I like to review the wording of any charter changes, or I would like to review the wording of any charter changes. With that item on consent, that's not possible unless I pull it.
Right. Well,
so I'd like to leave
it sounds like you
consent
pull it.
so we can review the wording of those.
Okay.
Okay. The next one for the 3rd that's not on consent is a bill for ordinance second reading. This is Council Bill 76 to approve an ordinance authorizing an amendment to the IGA with the Mile High Flood District for the design, right-of-way acquisition, and construction of drainage and flood control facilities in the South Inglewood Basin. The next is Council Bill 74, approval of an ordinance authorizing a South Inglewood flood reduction project easement acquisition. That's a bill for an ordinance second reading, and that is not on consent.
Both the next those passed unanimously. They should be on consent, I think.
Yeah, they'll be on. Everything was
okay.
Unanimous on.
Okay,
Monday
we'll
night.
update those.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. The next Council Bill 70, approve an ordinance amending EMC 7666C6 to update municipal code to reflect current city property ownership. That's a bill for an ordinance second reading that is on consent. The next
Actually,
is
Tim, you
Council
could
Bill.
just scroll through the second readings. You could just scroll through. You don't really have to go over them since they were 7-0.
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, there's several of those. So the 64, Council Bill 72. Council Bill 72 is a first reading to approve a bill for an ordinance amending various sections of the Public Offense Code to mirror changes in state law and ensure compliance that currently is on consent. The next Council Bill for first reading. Sorry, Mayor.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
The next one is Council Bill for first reading, ordinance amending Inglewood Municipal Code 147, restitution to victims of ordinance violations. That's currently not on consent. The next is Council Bill for first reading, or ordinance for first reading, excuse me. Council Bill 1, approve a bill for an ordinance amending municipal code sections regarding quarterly billing cycles for utility billings, utility code updates. And that's it for the third.
Okay.
Going on.
sounds good.
Yeah, going on to the 9th is just your interviews with new board and commission applicants. And Stephanie, do we, I think last time we checked, it looked like we would be able to do this in one night. Did we get a significant influx of applications? That
No,
would
so
change
that's been confirmed to be just on the 9th. The 10th we've removed.
Okay, great. On the 17th, we've held this for the public hearing on the planned unit development at 1314 West Oxford Avenue. So we have a presentation, and then we have a public hearing on a major subdivision. So these are two separate
Okay.
items.
Yep. Okay.
And then the 21st, the Saturday, that's your retreat. And then on the 23rd, we have a study session for land use discussion and typology follow-up. We have a study session on off-leash dog update. We have a presentation on phase 2 of the city charter project review, beginning to end review of the city charter. We have a study session on large utility designation. And then we have a resolution appointing members to various boards, commissions, and committees on the 23rd.
Okay. I'm trying to look and see how many items we have on there. So we have, was that 5 or 6?
Looks like can you scroll up just a little bit, Sarah, please? Thanks. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 study sessions and then 1 resolution.
Oh, that's a resolution. Okay. The question I was going to bring up about this one was just the conversation that we had on Monday, Tim, that potentially we can maybe add the discussion about City Center here with Dig Studio, potentially, but then also we talked about adding it on the Saturday council meeting. So just to keep that in mind, since we do have 4 items on there, we may be able to make it fit, although that off-leash dog update may take up a lot of time. Now that I look at it, so. And the charter review as well. Actually, the Saturday probably works best.
I did talk to Director Brad Power yesterday, and so he was going to reach out to Dig Studio about the Saturday. We do think we'll have room. I was also, if you and Mayor Pro Tem are amenable, I was thinking when I did my strategic plan report, I mentioned how obviously there's a few items in the economy section related to the city center goal. And so Director Power and I were wondering if maybe it could fit into that discussion as part of the retreat, if you're both so amenable to that.
Yeah, it sounds like a good spot for it, at least from my perspective.
No objection.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay.
Would you like, Mayor, for me to go through February 6th or?
I don't think so. I guess the first reading for automotive is on the 6th. Okay. And then I guess the one question I had, if you want to scroll down, I think I stated that I would like to try to keep the 13th as an off day, just because we've had 2 Saturdays. So it looks like we've kind of accomplished that. I'm fine just stopping here, and then we can pick it back up in January, just depending on what gets added. But unless, Steve, you have any objection to that? Doesn't look like
No.
there's many changes.
Nope.
Okay.
We do have a question about the 17th. Right now we have held off all other items for the public hearing. There was some curiosity of whether or not you wanted to have a study session that day or not.
I would say no, just because I think that we're going to be going along. I guess the question then, and this is between for Steve. Steve, do you think that we should be starting at 7 or should we start at 6 for the
We
public
should
hearing?
absolutely start at 6. That is going to be a very long night.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, great. That helps us. So we will not put a study session there.
Yep. Okay. Tim, did you want to go over the council requests? I think there were a couple.
I had one entered, Mayor, which was from Mayor Pro Tem, that was sent to
Yep.
Community Development. The question is, could we please obtain the application packets for all currently licensed short-term rental locations in the city of Englewood?
Okay, perfect. Wasn't sure if there was anything else. I was thinking maybe Chelsea brought one up, but maybe she did not. Okay, that sounds good. If I see another one, then I'll email it over to you, Tim. But
Okay.
I think that was the big one. Perfect. So, Mayor Pro Tem, do you have anything else or anything that we may have
That's
missed?
all I have. Thanks for entering that council request, Tim.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Anything else from you, Tim, or from staff?
Not for me. I don't know if Vicky or Stephanie or Sarah have anything.
Nothing from
No,
me.
Nope. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, I don't have anything either.
Okay, me
All right,
either.
perfect. All right, perfect, everyone. And I assume that was Victoria that chimed in. So, anyway, that should do it. All right, everyone. That now concludes today's Mayor's Managers meeting. Everyone have a great day and a great holiday. See
Thank you.
you in the new year.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.